Hello. This was a dumb idea and I had no reason to make it, but I had a lot of fun doing so enjoy the video. Our story begins with me sat on my kitchen floor using a can opener to take the heads off some Guinness cans. I rinsed the cans out and put them aside to dry. Whilst they were drying, I took the ring tabs off the top part of the cans. Ah, fuck. Oh, shit. This led to me cutting my finger, which was inevitable working on this project, and it happened a lot throughout. However, I stole my mum's gardening gloves in preparation. So then I started chopping up the cans so they were flat sheets of metal. This was dreadful, and I did not enjoy this part. It was like fingers on a chalkboard, but worse, because it was metal on metal. Here is a compilation of terrible sounds. Once I had enough, fabric, I wanted it to lie flat because it was so curvy, and I started off trying to use a rolling pin to do that. Oh my god! I did figure out how to get them to lay flat eventually, but before that I taped down the sharp edges with some black duct tape. For the fabric of the corset, so it wasn't just metal on my ribcage, I used this skirt from Primark, which is like a pleather material that does not fit over my ass. I made a mock-up of the corset on my dress form with this purple fabric for two reasons. Firstly, because there's not much of the black fabric, and I didn't want to just start chopping willy-nilly and then run out. Secondly, when you make a mock-up, you can use the pattern pieces that you've made as lining, and given that this is made out of aluminium with raw edges, I thought more layers of fabric the better. You can also take your time with altering and adjusting the mock-up until it fits you perfectly before you cut it out onto your main fabric. I'm quite proud of this idea. So to make the closures for the corset, I used the ring tabs from the tops of the cans. Like, that's kind of a cool idea, huh? I sewed them on the front with this gold sparkly thread. I really like how this looked, and I think it's a good idea because I don't often have grommets for corsets, so I started saving wrinkles in the hopes of using them for future tops. I then got back to the cans and I was still struggling to get them to lie flat. I realised that if you just bend them against themselves, that works. I cut the cans into squares and taped the sharp edges with more black tape, and then I used a hole punch to cut out some holes. That way I could sew them by hand onto the corset. I then began sewing and sewing and sewing and sewing. I did a bit outside to get some vitamin D. I had some help from my pet snake, but she doesn't have arms. It kind of reminds me of like a patchwork quilt, but a delinquent version. The corset part is like pretty much done. I want to use like the widget parts from inside. Oh, it's dripping. The widget parts from like inside the cans, kind of like that. What I've got, PVA glue. Can like wrap the ball with string that's soaked in PVA glue. I don't know if should I paint it black first? I can't really remember what I'm talking about in these clips. However, here's a fun fact. The widget in a can of Guinness, it releases a burst of nitrogen into the beer when the can is opened. What does it do? This sudden infusion, according to Google, creates the tiny bubbles which rise to the surface and makes the creamy head that the Guinness is renowned for. Once the PVA had dried, I tried putting a hole through the widget with a lighter and a needle, because I thought the hot needle would go through the plastic, but that didn't work too well, so I just used a drill. I made the lace to do up the corset with black wool and gold sparkly thread, and I crocheted that together. I mean, it's done. I don't really know why I've made this. Where am I going to wear this? What? It's cool. I think it might be bulletproof. Okay. So that was it. I'd finished making it, and I kind of hated how the necklace looked. It just hung weird, and yeah, looked a bit, yeah, it's not cute. So I ended up just cutting it up and then making it into little hair bows, and that's it done. I like how it looks. I think it is quite like Ren Fairy. Ren Fairy? It looks like something a hobbit would wear, and I do quite like that. It does make a noise when you move. There's a bit of a crinkle sound. And because it's like aluminium, pleather, and the cotton fabric, it is boiling hot. It creates like a greenhouse effect. I forgot about this. I did a painting of, it's a Guinness. I also did a painting of a jar of pickles and a jar of Marmite. So my three loves. I only have 0% Guinness right now, but cheers. Apart from that, it was fun to make, and I hope you enjoyed the video. It's like its healthy little counterpart.